Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to another exciting episode of So Frail Conversations. And today, as you've seen from the title, we're going to be talking about political power. Now, this comes off of the recent episode of politics, but I know that, well, I don't know, but I just feel like going in the same direction and staying in his pocket and making it a So Frail Conversation because we got to see our part in this, right, as men, where we fit, because we live in a patriarchal world. Niggas want to dismantle patriarchy and shit, but you can't dismantle patriarchy without understanding politics. Now, when we look at patriarchy, we have to understand where it came from, and then we have to understand where we're going to go with the shit. So it's like politics and patriarchy go hand in hand. You feel what I'm saying? In many regards. But beyond that, it's about how much power you can have politically. And if you don't understand politics and what it truly means. Now, the reason why I'm saying what it truly means is because we often get wrapped up in the descriptions and not the definitions. And the descriptions are detailed, are shit that's detailed and designed to keep you distracted. So when they give you the politics from the details perspective, you're not really seeing it. But now when we go into politics from the definition and we stick solely to the definition, now we can really decide and see what it is that we actually have to attack, what it is that we have to approach, and what it is that we have to dismantle. A lot of us don't understand, like when we want the power, we don't understand the politics of political power. So we often say things like, oh, you got to give the people a check. You got to, write money. Politics is about money and paying people off. You feel what I'm saying? But it's deeper than that, because it's like you have to have your politics aligned in order to have the power to pay people. You feel what I'm saying? But the money and the shit, it becomes irrelevant if you don't understand what politics mean. And this is why I'm making this a So Frail Conversations, because y'all know the root and the theme of masculinity is always going to be the spiritual, mental, and physical embodiment of the essence of analysis and deconstruction. That's how I'm always going to define it. That's how it's defined for me. So Frail 1, 2, and 3, I'm always going to stand on that. But now we're going to take that and we're going to take that and start to apply it on a different level. Like I told y'all, season 13 and beyond, the shit that I'm about to be talking is different. Like, I don't know. I know what happened, but I really don't have, there's nothing to hold back anymore. There's nothing, like, that's why I wanted to start this shit off with the reading comprehension episode. And this season, y'all going to hear me frequently go back to that and say, like, you have to be able to comprehend the way that I comprehend in order for any of this shit to make sense that I'm talking about. But I'm still going to be able to break it down for you to get it and see why. Yeah, it's gaps between where I am and where a lot of us are. But those gaps are also how political power works. Because when I understand what the political power is, if I don't understand the politics, I can't have the power. You feel me? I can have the money, I can have the riches, but if I don't understand the politics, I cannot have any form of power. So we have to go back to where the politics started. Like, you always hear me say, like, the Roman Empire, I got a whole episode on that. The Roman Empire just rebranded. Like, I think a lot of times we fuck that up and think that the Roman Empire disappeared. It didn't. It rebranded and it started wearing red, white, and blue flags. You feel what I'm saying? It no longer says, hey, we're the Roman Empire. Nah, nigga, now we can be Machiavellian and play in the back and still fuck shit up, run shit. But we're not gonna, because now when we look at politics as a whole, not even that, starting from the etymology of shit, most words that we know the etymology for all start with Latin. Somehow they're going to go back and say, hey, there's a Latin root for this. There's a Latin root for that. And it's the reason why, because Latin was the language of the Romans. You feel what I'm saying? So now when we understand political power being, as I stated in a previous episode, the science and the art of government. And then we break down science meaning to know. We break down art being the skill or practice, the skill or practice of a science in a way. And then we have government being the control or to rule or control over the mind. And then now we add power. And I'm going to use the great Huey P. Newton's, Dr. Huey P. Newton's quote of power. Power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired way. 2 words. This is why you always hear me say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but one word can conjure 1,000 images, right? 1,000 pictures. 2 words: political power. Political, politics, the science and art of government. Power, the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner. Political power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner according to the art and the science, according to the science and the art of government. When we as men are not understanding what power we really don't have, we don't understand how to obtain the power for real. We think it's just money. We think it's just all. No. You'll never be able to achieve the power that you will never be able to achieve the power necessary to truly overthrow this shit. And I'm not saying that as a defeated mentality. I'm saying that this episode is largely going to tell you what the fuck you got to do in order to be on point to make this shit happen. Now, it's also going to go on to show you how many buffers are in place to ensure that you don't do it. Forget the politics and like the laws and shit that they enact. It be your own people. It be your own people that prevent you from achieving political power because of the political power that is now used on your people. And as men, we're the protectors, we're the providers, we're the problem solvers, we're the analyzers and deconstructors. It's on us to be able to break through and see this shit. But how do we do it when we can't do it? Like, niggas think it's just easy as going to war. And that's when you think like a fucking 6th grader. But niggas think it's as simple as going to war and just shutting shit down. It's not, because what aftermath has to occur after you make the moves that you make. But do you understand politics enough to even have power and move within them? And that's what I really want to touch up on. That's what I want to take into this next level, because it's like, as men, when we understand the political power of it, that's why Martin Luther King was propped up, but Malcolm X was shunned. Malcolm X had political power, and it was deeper than what they could, they make it seem as if it was just his words. No, he actually had political power, because you have to have the mind to understand politics and power. Huey P. Newton, Dr. Huey P. Newton, Bobby Seale, these people, they had political power without political power. You feel what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is they had the strength to be able to go politically, bar for bar, stand up to you. But at the same time, it just wasn't enough people, wasn't enough manpower, and it wasn't enough people on a whole to be on one accord. You feel what I'm saying? We're in a space where you hit the head, then the sheep will scatter. You feel me? And this is why I say, but ain't no sheep inside my clique, you get your shit splattered. You feel me? But before we dive heavy into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Seen the Griot. Be sure to check out my website at IamJustSeen.com to get all things that are just seen. To all those who tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. To all those who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of the podcast. Not the episode, but the podcast itself. Cash App and PayPal are just fine. And you know the vibes. That's that for this, and that's this for that. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into So Frail Conversations, political power. And don't forget to visit IamJustSeen.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So Frail series to your library? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to learn how to master the markets for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You ever want to just chat with Seen about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustSeen.com. So take a quick peek into my world to see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it. And you will never see it unless you visit IamJustSeen.com. All right. Welcome back. Ow. And without further ado, we're going to dive heavy into this episode. First, we want to run this back. We got to go back into history. And I think the biggest thing of that is that when we understand, we have to start in the history to know why we're here today. We often talk about the 400 years of captivity, 400 years of captivity, or the 500 plus years, depending. I'm personally, from the math that I've done, we at like 535 now at this point. We ain't 400 years no more. So that's beyond the motherfucking curse of the biblical times or whatever they told us and shit. But all of that plays into political power. All of that plays into the political power. We have to first acknowledge from the political perspective. You feel me? Understand that we're speaking from the definition, political, the science and the art of government, right? Mind control, the ability to, the ruling and authority of the mind, government, and then the power, the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired way. You feel what I'm saying? When we go back to when this shit started, now we're arguing about the politics of what happened with our people first. I think that's the foundational piece of all of this shit. Like, because they control the politics, because they are in control of the politics, they don't tell the truth in the politics. They don't have to tell the truth. They have to tell the story that makes the politics work, that makes the science and the art of government work. So when we talk about, oh, you guys come from Africa. We took, like, think about that shit. Like, we took 30 ships or whatever with 12 million motherfuckers from Africa and brought them over here in 30 days. That's not humanly possible. I hate to, because there's some people that's like, yo, we was all enslaved and we was all brought from Africa. No, that wasn't the case. You got to think about it like this. And this is going to get into the politics and how things start to play out. How are we all brought? Like, think about this. How are we all brought from Africa when the intention, how can it be verified that we were brought from Africa when initially they thought they landed in India? There's already proof that they don't know where the fuck they are. They had no idea where the fuck they are. You dig what I'm saying? So now I'm going to get into another layer to that, because in order for you to land on India from Africa, you have to go the opposite way of what it would be to land on to land on America from Africa. You feel me? There's things like the map being flipped over and upside down and shit like that too. But to be able in 30 days to move 12 million motherfuckers, I ain't gonna say 30 days, because the transatlantic slave trade started in 1492 and it ran till about the 1700s and shit. And then somehow we were here, blah, 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 we populated. Think about this. Like, how do you, and this is, like I said, this is a part of the political power. How do you not only conquer the people, but then you send them on a ship? Now, the ratio, this is a part of politics. The ratio of slave catchers to enslaved people was completely outmanned. And you're doing this several times with 12 million people. Like, really sit with that. To transfer these people over. Now, you would at least need equal amounts of people to keep those people in check. Right? Psychological. These are just getting into the politics. This is the art part of the politics. The psychological side of it is, I'm leading you to believe that you guys are so incompetent, so insignificant, so inferior to me that I can send 3 or 4 of us, and all of you that are enchained or whatever, enslaved or whatever the case may be, you're not even going to think to revolt. You don't even think you have the wherewithal to respond and to respond negatively to this. And I can get 12 million of you motherfuckers to do it. Now we have people, and I'm gonna show you the whole programming, the psychological programming of cowardice within us. And this is as black men. I'm not even just going to get into the women. This is just as black men, because there's no way you can convince us that we were shackled and chained, by inferior motherfuckers. You feel what I'm saying? Genetically, we're gonna get into that a little bit too, I think. But there's no way you can convince me that they were able to shackle and chain 12 million of us, and it wasn't even 12 million of them. Sometimes you just got to think, but this is the politics that sets the story. You feel what I'm saying? So now, by the time it gets here, it's like, oh yeah, we brought y'all from Africa, all 12 million of y'all, and then we enslaved all of y'all only on the East Coast. When we think about enslavement, it was all the South. You feel me? So we're gonna say this: the slave plantations, and we know it because Confederates and shit. The slave plantations literally only ran from about Florida up to Virginia, maybe Maryland a little bit. Because after that, they were saying it was north. But how far east and west did it go? Not that far. You feel me? That's why that phrase is like, yo, there's such and such on this side of the Mississippi. The Mississippi was always the demarcation line. So now let's draw that box. Let's say that the Maryland was I think probably Maryland was probably the highest point of slavery, because then it's like once you go north, now you into the free states or whatever the case may be. But let's look at Maryland. You feel me? From Maryland down to Florida into the Mississippi. You mean to tell me 12 million motherfuckers were stuck there, and that they brought all of us from Africa and put us right there, and they was able to enslave us all. The numbers didn't even add up. Like, you feel what I'm saying? The numbers didn't even add up to where it's like, how do we outnumber them on a plantation, but we're still afraid of them? Something wasn't right. Something isn't right. Like, there's no way that you can just do that unless there's a fear that's already instilled. Like, how do you instill fear other than war? This is when we got to start telling the story, because now when we're like, oh, this person's indigenous. This is why they did the whole 23andMe and all of that shit you want to come from. Politics. We're going to give you the art to make you believe what we need the politics to work for. Because then we can we have the political power now, because we control the politics and we can dictate the power. So much so, if you look at the 23andMe, the Ancestry.coms, all of them said for entertainment purposes only. What does entertainment mean? To go in and hold the mind. What does the government do? Rule and authority over the mind. Entertainment and politics seem to go hand in hand through the medium of art. Now, when you perceive art to be, just painting and drawing, and you don't understand that it is the application of skill. Art is the application of skill, bro. You're not going to see when art is being used. You're going to be looking for pictures and cartoons and shit. And music. Those are the only two forms of art that people are seeing as, that's art. You do music, or you draw, or you paint. You feel me? Or sculpt, or create some shit. Like that's what we have identified as what art is. No, art is the application of skills, or the application of science. Science is the understanding of art. So, excuse me. Now when we're looking at what really happened, because the politics say, oh, you guys all come from Africa. Now we're going to verify it. How we're going to verify it? We're going to create the very DNA test that we're going to give you. Now we got all of your DNA. You feel me? And we got all your DNA conveniently right before COVID. Because we needed the experiment to know whose DNA changes and whose DNA remains the same when we actually go through with what we're about to go through with this vaccine. You feel what I'm saying? The doctors and shit, they know you're not the same no more. They know the mRNA technology has completely created a whole different being. They still have your old DNA, but now they're saying what new DNA has been created and crafted within you. You're not a human anymore. Look up transhumanism in regards to mRNA technology. You'll see a lot of shit. Them niggas own y'all. You're now their property because their DNA, their patented product is inside of you. That's wild, but it's politics. It's a different level of politics. Now this is political power, because we think it's just the government. No, this is political power at this point when you could do some shit like that. This is why when you look at, well, how is Bill Gates, who's not a politician, who doesn't have this, that, because it's political power. Political power ain't got shit to do with allegiance of a political party. You feel me? Political powers ensure that it happens, because now we create the shit in order to make sure the art and the science happen. The government don't give a fuck about you. It gives a fuck about your mind. You feel what I'm saying? And it knows that we can control the mind at will because we have the political power to do so. So now rewind, because as I was mentioning, when we look at where we were enslaved from Maryland down over to about, from the Mississippi border, and then down again. So that little box, look how big the United States is. Look how large the United States is. You feel me? And then you talk about the Trail of Tears, and we talk about people that were moved west. And it's like, there's a common thing that we're forgetting. It's like, how did they move us? Like, because it just makes it seem like they came over here and just said, now go. And we went. Like, nigga, what? That paints the scene that we were always docile, passive, cowardice people. Now, we leverage it in. Because when you read Christopher Columbus's logs and shit, he said, these people are he said, they're going to be, he said, these people, when he landed on the land, he said, these people will be easy to enslave. What people was he talking about? He said, when he landed and saw the people, he was saying that these people would be easy to enslave because they're so compassionate. They're so open. And when you look at it from that perspective, now this goes into the politics a little bit more and the patriarchy. They always had patriarchal politics. Now, what do you got to look at patriarchy is? Patriarchy, from the mentality, is always built off of hierarchy, which is dominion and submission. And it was, these people are quote unquote gentle giants, in a sense. It's like they are so embracing and inviting and loving, we can enslave the fuck out of them. We can dominate them because they're so graceful. That's crazy. Not realizing that we were matriarchal. It wasn't that we was bitches. It wasn't that we was soft. We was matriarchal and we lived in harmony. We had reached a point over here where we were in harmony with each other. Like, think about how they often depicted of, the loincloth and, the men were just wearing loincloth and women weren't doing nothing but covering their titties and they lower bodies and shit. And it's like, we didn't objectify each other. That's dominion. You feel me? That's a hierarchical perspective. You feel me? It's levels to why that is so important. When they came over here, it's like, yo, y'all too happy. We can control y'all. We can control y'all. But what they didn't fathom is in that when he came back and did the recon and shit, what he didn't fathom is that when they came back, they were going, what we didn't know, let me say it like that. What we didn't know is that after we taught them shit and, try to, be amicable with these niggas and shit, they were planning for war that we weren't anticipating. Now, granted, we had spears, we had arrowheads, but we didn't have firepower. We didn't have firepower, which is something they knew that they would need, because in conjunction to him saying, hey, these motherfuckers are too peaceful, too nice, we can control them and we will be able to enslave them. The reason why I'm saying that, because it's very, very important. If he comes over here and in his log, he already says, already says these people will be easy to enslave. Why would you need to bring people from Africa? If the very nigga you sent for recon is telling you, yo, the people that's already over there are going to be easy to enslave. I'm just a critical thinker and I like to put things together, put two and two together to make four sometimes. If the nigga that I sent to go tell me, hey, bro, that land that's over there that we want, it's people already over there, but they not aggressive. They nice people. They embraced us. They fed us. They taught us food. They taught us the ways of the land. They go, we can enslave the fuck out of them. If I already know that when I go back to Ferdinand and Isabella, when I go back on my recon and say, hey, this is what the fuck happened, let's go get them. You feel me? Why would I need to bring 12 million people from Africa when I've already defined that there's people on a land that are easy to enslave? Critical thought, homie. Critical thought. Not only that, reading comprehension. But you see how the politics works? We're going to make sure you only read what we tell you to read. Like, we're only going to tell you to read what we tell you to read. So you're not even going to make the critical connection that, hey, because when you learned about Christopher Columbus, you didn't learn about the shit that he put in his log. You just learned that Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. You learned that shit. You didn't learn what he did when he got over here. They didn't teach you about the smallpox and all of the diseases that he came over here with, because in addition to that, why would you, now you got to think about this next why part. This is more politics and political power. Why would you feel the need to bring disease to the people? What state of health did you meet these people in to where you knew that the only way to defeat them would be to weaken them first? Weaken them physically by their immune systems. Like, we be thinking like, how did smallpox, measles and shit, that was biological warfare. I knew that I would have to use biological warfare to weaken you first. So in addition to saying these people would be great to enslave because they're embracing, but at the same time, we can't just run up over there. We have to get them sick first. We have to make sure they're sick first in order to conquer them, to enslave them. You feel what I'm saying? The shit goes hand in hand. Fuck with me. We got a long ways to go. So as we're looking at this connection, You feel me? When you have in 1492, they come over, then, they go back, then they come back again. And this time is when they start to bring the diseases and all that shit. They start to put smallpox and shit in the blankets. That adds another level to the warfare. Remember, they didn't just go to war first. That adds another level to the warfare. Because to think about, to putting smallpox in blankets means that you had to wait till they went to sleep to even try anything. Like, you feel what I'm saying? I did nothing. Now, this is where it starts to get psychological. Because in my notes, I said these people can be easily enslaved. They can be easily enslaved. Yet I did nothing to initially enslave them immediately. Everything that I did had to be covert. It had to be subtle. You feel what I'm saying? I had to attack them silently. But I said that they were easy to enslave. Think about that. Why would I need to put shit in blankets to wait for you to go sleep, to cuddle, to sleep with in order to get you infected? If I was really built like that and y'all was really, not built like that, why would I need to wait until you sleep to make my moves? You feel me? It's politics. Because bad guys are good, the good guys are villains. The monster is the one who's described by the children of the storyteller. You feel me? The person that's telling the story, they're going to tell the story how they want it to be told. But they're always going to tell you the truth if you can interpret it. Because they're not going to lie to you. So now they came over here, right? And now this is the part that we miss. Because now when we look at the lost colony, I'm going to show you a gap and how we're going to close it. Now when we look at the lost colony, Virginia Dare and them, right? These niggas keep trying to say, oh, they came over here and then we went back and then they just disappeared. No, they were slaughtered. They were slaughtered. Either it's one of two things. Either they ate themselves as cannibals. But see, that's one of the parts of the politics. They would rather say, oh, these people ate themselves as cannibals rather than the people that were on this land killed them because of the shit Christopher Columbus did when he came the first time. Why? Because we were in the middle of a war. This wasn't just like what we're looking at right now with the oppression and the captivity and all of the shit that we have. We're prisoners of war, my nigga. We weren't slaves. We weren't enslaved. And I get it. I respect everybody who has we came from Africa. That's the politics they want you to believe. That's the politics they want you to believe because it justifies everything that is happening now. Because now you have to actually talk to Africans, my nigga. And not just talk to Africans from the perspective of, you know what, we're from y'all. Like, no, Africans would tell you, y'all not from Africa. When I went to med school, there was a lot of African people there. And I was talking to a guy, right? And he was like, yo, you African? Because my name is Racine, right? Now, here's where it's crazy. He was from Africa. We're from America. And we were living in Dominica, right? This was some divine connection. I promise you, this was some divine connection on a whole other level for me, because as I'm talking to the local people from there and I'm getting the history from them and I'm getting connections and things from Africa. And it's like, they've been playing with us the whole time, but nobody sees it right now. So this is what I'm saying, like talking to the people from the island, because my name is Racine. It was like, yo, you French? And it was so much like, let me tell you how it was, right? Like, I looked so much like the Dominican people that when we all look alike, but at the same time, I really looked like I was from Dominica. So when they see me, they was like, you Dominican? I said, nah, I'm American. They was like, you sure? I think I would know where I was born, bro. But as I spent more time with them, I was like, I look just like y'all. Like, not in the sense that, and this is when it started to open me up, because I was like, I don't necessarily look like the Africans they told me that I look like. Like, I've never met an African that I actually look like. And again, to my African brethren and sister, I'm not trying to create a divide and dissociate. I'm literally talking about phenotypes, because the phenotypes develop differently on different land masses because of the food, because of the air, because of the just the different positioning of the globe. You feel me? Between the tropics of Capricorn and Cancer, and the equator spanning in the middle. Everybody is affected by the sun differently, different climates, different tropics. So it makes our genetics manifest a different way. So it's like, us in America don't look like Africans. Africans don't look like Americans. You feel what I'm saying? We're all brown skin. We all dark skinned people, but our commonality is that we have dominant genetics, but our genetics dominantly manifested differently on different land masses. So it's like, I'm sitting here with African people and I'm on the island with Dominican people. And I'm like, I look more like them than I do the Africans they tell me about. So something happened in me and I just started studying, started actually interacting with the people. You feel me? Like I said, because my name was Racine. And this was the part that I was laughing at. It was funny. It was like, dude just started speaking to me in French. I was like, what? He said, you don't speak French? I said, no. He said, but your name is Racine. The fuck that got to do with anything? That's a French name. It's like at the core, it's a French name. It's like, how did I end up with a French name? I mean, I talked to my mama. She's like, yeah, I named you that because it means king. Y'all know how I break it down phonetically. Ra, meaning the light, seen means to see. It all goes hand in hand because in French, it means root. I am the root of a lot of shit, bro. It's deep. You know what I'm saying? It's layers to the shit. But anyway, so he started speaking to me in French and I'm like, he was like, you sure you not Dominican? I said, I don't think I am. He was like, where? He said, where you from? I said, the United States. He was like, but like where? And I was like, I was born in the southern area in North Carolina. He was like, oh. And when he said, oh, it was like, you don't know who you are. And then I started thinking then I started studying history a little bit more and paying attention to it. I always knew about things like the Louisiana Purchase. And the reason why the Louisiana Purchase happened was because they lost the war because the Haitians got their independence or whatever. And then when they beat the French, the Louisiana went up for sale. And that whole area broadened the aspect of beyond the Mississippi. That Louisiana Purchase. That's very, very important because we got to add it to the politics that's there. Before the Louisiana Purchase, the United States literally ran from where Baltimore is down to Florida up to the Mississippi line. Everything outside of that was French shit. Now, if the French conquered and colonized that and had that, and mainly where the French are is in the islands where the Caribbeans and everything like that, that was mainly a lot of French territory and a little bit of Spanish, but a lot of French territory. Why? Or better yet, how do you convince somebody that, oh, y'all came from the other side of the country, the other side of the world, actually? You feel me? We're going to get into that because it's still politics as usual. But this is what political power is. You feel me? So now, when we look at, and this is why I mentioned when I was in med school, because I was talking to the African brother and shit, and he was like, so you African? I was like, nah, I'm black. He said, man, you from Africa too. And that's what he said. So I was like, oh, you might be right. But then I started talking to some African women and it was like, y'all not African. And I used to take it as an insult because it's like, yo, well, fuck y'all then. Y'all don't want to claim us, but listen to what was being said. Something in me said, just listen, ask them why. I said, why you say I'm not from Africa? She was like, cause you're not. Like just so casually. She was just like, because you're not. And it was beyond y'all done forgot y'all don't remember y'all customs. Y'all don't speak y'all language. She didn't say that. She was like, y'all are literally not from Africa. She was like, y'all are from there. And y'all are different. And I was like, what you mean we're from different? Like, she was like, why do y'all think y'all came from Africa? And I was like, they told us we come from Africa. And she was like, y'all not African. She said, think about it like this. And this is when she put it in perspective for me. And it kind of it's like, they say the doors are open. Well, Drake said the doors are open as soon as you find a missing key. It was like, it went off just like this. And she was like, if y'all were really from Africa, right? How come us in Africa still have our cultures and our languages, but y'all don't? And I was like, because they didn't want us to speak our languages or whatever the case may be. They didn't want us. She said, they let us keep ours. She's like, if we was enslaved and colonized, we was colonized by the same people. Why did they let us keep ours and then took yours? If y'all are really from here. She's like, y'all not the same as us. You feel me? And then it got me thinking because then I started paying attention to the religion and how devout they were. Like she was a Christian, but she was a Christian who thought that Jesus was white. So it started to make sense. And that's when I started to expand and was like, oh shit, it makes total sense. Y'all didn't need to have y'all religions and shit taken away from you. Y'all was able to keep your cultures because you adopted the shit. It had to be taken from us. Like we had to completely be stripped away. And it's like, why would that happen? Because we was at war. We wasn't brought over from Africa. And this is when I started to understand genetics. Well, I already had a feeling of genetics, but I was like, this is why they say there's only 3 races of people: the Africoid, the Caucasoid, and the Mongoloid. It's not the landmass, nigga. Politics again. Politics are kicking in. Pay attention. The science and the art of the government. I'm like, it's not the landmass. It's the genetics. Oh shit. Oh shit. But why is it the genetics? And why is it so important that they call everybody by the landmass? Let me sit back a little bit and let me peel back some layers. And I know, well, seeing this seems like a pretty general conversation. Why are you making it so frail conversations? Because this 100% applies to us as men. Because this starts off as a patriarchal thing. A patriarchal thing from those who had the colonizers, but they have to tell the story in a way that looks like y'all didn't even fight back. Y'all were bitches. Now, as a motherfucker that grew up in the hood, I had my fair share of fights. Sometimes we embellish the fight a little bit. You feel me? You might have won, but you nigga, I'll beat that nigga ass and shit. Nigga, it won't even all that shit. Nigga, it was 2 or 3 punches. Y'all wrestled a little bit, fell on the dirt, then you put the nigga in the head, like hit him twice, 2 more times, and it was like, yo, you good? Cause I'm good. Nigga, we embellish the shit. You know, yeah, we squared. I hit that bing, 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 bing. We embellish the story sometimes. You feel me? If I conquer the people, you don't think I'm going to embellish the story the same way? If I'm able to conquer a people, you don't think I'm gonna embellish the same way? Like the nigga might have hit me the nigga might hit me 4 or 5 times, but I won, so I'm telling that nigga he ain't phased shit over here. Nah, nigga, that hit stumbled you, but nobody seen it. Now everybody only knows the story of you won because you won. He's not gonna refute it because you did win. But at the same time, it's like, nah, that didn't happen. It didn't happen like you said it happened. You feel me? Because our story didn't happen like you said it happened. You ever wondered why every culture gets a heritage month, but we get a history month? Why? Why? And then we talk shit. We be like, yo, Black history is American history. And this is crazy because this is dropping right at the end of Black History Month. But we get History Month instead of Heritage Month. Everybody has Heritage Month. Everybody has Heritage Month but us. We have History Month. Why? Because what is history? History is how we fit within the politics. History is how we fit within the political structure of the people that beat us. Because this is what I was talking about when I talked about being a Dominica, and then we're going to bring it back to the Virginia Dare thing with, the lost colony disappearing and shit, and they came back and they didn't find nobody. Why didn't you find anybody? You had enough supplies. They knew how to operate on the land. They got murdered. And like I said, this is one of the parts of the story. They would rather say, you know what? They ate themselves or they starved to death. Rather than saying, yo, they got beat the fuck up. They got massacred. They got slaughtered because we didn't tell them that they was in the middle of a war zone when we brought them over here, trying to colonize. You feel me? To start the 13 colonies. We didn't tell them that they was in the middle of a war zone. Like, we didn't. We made it seem like this was clear land. No, nigga, this was war zone. But we're not going to tell you that. You feel me? And we're going to actually make the story seem so much different. And we're going to embellish it in such a way that it's like, you know what? There's no way that you guys could have done this. You know what else they embellished? The stories of the pyramids. You guys didn't build those. That was built by aliens. You niggas couldn't have done no shit like that. The fuck? You know why? Because now it's like when you start to see, okay, y'all built pyramids over there. Y'all built pyramids over here. There's more pyramids in the Americas than there are in Africa. So much so that there's a pyramid in Chicago, Illinois. It's called Monk's Mound. They don't even call them pyramids over here. They call them mounds. It's called Monk's Mound. That is a fucking pyramid, my nigga. It's crazy. Why were pyramids in that connecting space? Because now it goes into what were we building pyramids for? You feel what I'm saying? What were we building pyramids for? And who did we come from? And why is the story being told in a way that we're not included the way we're supposed to be included? It's because it's political power. It's political power. And when you erase the storytellers, when you erase the people who can actually tell the history, you can control the narrative. So again, I'm mentioning that because when they came over here, they didn't come over here with people on boats. You feel me? Another thing that we know about now, we know how arrogant these motherfuckers are. Like, this is political power. We know how arrogant these motherfuckers are. The very people that we said were that enslaved us, that brought us from Africa, that had the whole I'm not saying the transatlantic slave trade didn't happen. It did. But it's embellished, my nigga. It's very embellished because it's like, we can't tell y'all that y'all was here already. So we're not going to tell you y'all were here already. We're going to tell you the truth while lying to you at the same time. You feel me? Because we're not going to lie to you. We're just not going to tell you the right truth. Because you're not going to be able to comprehend the truth anyway. So you're going to take what we say because you have to. Because now you are prisoners of war. You're not slaves. You're prisoners of war. You're not enslaved people. You're prisoners of fucking war. And the war is always on. So much so that the history, they know, the politics is so well versed in understanding of this that J. Edgar Hoover said, and this is what I put in So Frail 3, I fear the rise of a black messiah who can spark the militant mind of the people. Why is the militant mind the biggest problem for you? Because you know that we're still in a war. You know that we're still in the middle of a war. We lost. I can admit that. I can admit that we lost. But when you actually study the history and you see how many people actually came from Africa, when you study the documentation, there's a website. I forgot what it is. It's like Free Ship or Find the Ships or some shit like that, where you could actually see how many people were brought from Africa. That number, that 12 million number is not real, but it's embellished because it makes sense because it's like, yo, there was 12 million motherfuckers over here and we had to go to war with them. And for the first couple aspects of the war, we was losing, which is why we ended up bringing the guns. We had to bring the firepower. So this is the point that I was making with that. It's like when we look at the South, the Confederates, them niggas would erect a monument right now. They want you to remember everything they did. How come we don't have a single slave ship preserved? Like, they didn't preserve none of them. Like, that's what these niggas do. They make sure they always tell you how they conquered you. They erect their monuments to show you that they conquered you. But the ships didn't last. The Roman Colosseum still stands. But you have no ships that brought slaves back and forth. 12 million to be exact, so you say. And you don't have any recordation of it because you control the politics. Bitch, you got to believe what I said anyway. This is my story. The fuck? So now when we look at the actual war, the war went, I could say it had to pop off at 1492 or whatever the case may be. But whenever Christopher Columbus went down, and this is when we start to get a deeper aspect. Christopher Columbus did the recon in 1492. Christianity is invented in 1550. Now I know niggas like, no, nigga, the Ethiopian Christian. No. The way you know Christianity today and how it was given to the motherfuckers in America is not the Christianity that you knew. And from the Council of Nicaea, they already knew that they were going to do this. These niggas, the Council of Nicaea was in 325 AD. Christopher Columbus did his recon in 1492. You feel me? That's 1,100 years that they prepared. 1,100 years of politics to get the world to believe in a religion. And then they came and they met us. Just didn't work for some reason. It just didn't work. These motherfuckers don't get it. Because what did they find when they came over here? Hoodoo, voodoo, and Santeria. Hoodoo, voodoo, and Santeria. You can't put Christianity on people like that. You just can't. You just can't, which is crazy because it's like now when we look at the George Washington Carver was one of the last remnants of people that was connected like that. I never understood when I started listening to a historian studying them. It's like, why they castrate him? Then it's like, it was deeper than that. If they cut off his testosterone, they cut off his masculine connection to spirit. I didn't realize why they had did that to him or whatever the case may be, but he had such a connection to earth. It's like George Washington Carver, in my opinion, was just like Imhotep. Like they raise up an individual, but they never tell you who that person learned from. That history's gone. When you look at Imhotep, they be like, yo, he was the first multi-genius. He's the architect. He did architecture. He helped build the pyramids. He was the father. He was the god of modern medicine, according to Hippocrates. And it was something else that he did. And he was astronomer, astrologist, and everything like that. But it's like, he was a multi-genius. But who did he learn from? To be that proficient at anything, you have to learn from somebody that's equally proficient or who supersedes you. You feel what I'm saying? And so it's like, who is his teachers? They just make it seem like us as niggas is one anomaly that pops up every now and again, and we don't have any foundations. Same thing they did with George Washington Carver. Who taught him the land like that? To where he can understand a peanut the way he understood a peanut. So much so that the peanut and the soybean and all that shit could be used. That was another thing. They credit him for the peanut, but they don't talk about what he did with the soybean and how it helped them to manufacture vehicles. You feel what I'm saying? And create petroleum and shit like that. It's different. Nigga, it's different when you know the motherfucking story. You feel me? And I talk my shit because I know the fucking stories. But this is political power. This is political power. You feel me? Erase the story so you don't know what it is. But this is what I'm saying. So now when you look at George Washington Carver and you look at a lot of the shit that he was going through. Now when you look at the different medicine men that they had. Oh, they call them, oh, you're a witch doctor. The witch doctors, the voodoo doctors, and all of this shit. Why are these three? Why are these three? Voodoo, hoodoo, and Santeria. Why are these three so important and so rooted within the Americas? Not Africa. Africa is Yoruba. You feel me? Africa is Yoruba. Africa is Natarianism. That's what's on Africa's side. But over here is hoodoo, voodoo, and Santeria. What did they fear so much about hoodoo, voodoo, and Santeria that they had to come over here and flip it? You feel what I'm saying? And it's a reason why it's like when our people are so fucking brilliant that they were able to say, okay, we'll take the religion, but we'll hide our shit underneath it. It eventually, don't get me wrong, because of the political power, it eventually got to a point where you could not hide it. It got lost with being hid. You feel me? It got lost in being hid. And for example, when we look at the Southern Baptist women, you feel me, who wear the all white and shit on 4 Sundays and shit. It's a lot of rituals that are in place that we don't do anymore, but we still do. Like the women be like, yo, don't put my purse on the floor. Why? That's hoodoo, ma'am. You know that, right? Don't sweep somebody's feet because they won't get married. You feel what I'm saying? Throw salt over your shoulder when you're cooking if you spill something. You feel what I'm saying? It's a lot of hoodoo practices. It's a lot of voodoo practices. It's a lot of Santeria practices that are tied into all of this. But now when we look at the 3 areas that were colonized, North America, South America, and Central America, those are the 3 entities that operate under that. But it's all the same shit. Because now when you look at New Orleans and the Creoles and then how they're from that French area are still so connected to Haiti, but the hoodoo and the voodoo is slightly different, but it's slightly the same. And now when you look at how Haiti and Dominican Republic is the same motherfucking island. And then when you look at the Dominican Republic and the Cubans and how they largely practice Santeria, but they all have to fuck with Christianity in some way, shape, or form. How did that happen? How did that happen? I'll tell you how that happened. God damn it. This is when you go to the books that say how to turn a Negro into a Christian. Because now we have to ask ourselves what the fuck a Negro is. You feel me? What is a Negro? Niggas be like, yo, I'm not a Negro and shit. I'm not black and shit. I'm a black man. When people talk about, yo, are you a black? No, I'm not FBA. I'm not none of that shit. I'm a black man. The reason why I'm a black man, because I know why they call me a black man. You don't know why they call you a black man. So you want to look at, oh, this is Black's Law's Dictionary. Black's Law Dictionary is fucking politics. They said the black people, we're going to call them civilis mortis, a dead body. We're going to create the politics that make a black person like this. But why are we calling them black? That's the biggest thing. They didn't just pull this word out of their ass and said, we're going to call them black, because clearly our skin is not black. We're called black because of our hair. Because when they met us, they called us negros and negras, because we are the curly, kinky hair, dark hair people. If we had straight hair, it would be moreno or morena. So when you look at what a Negro and a Negro is, it's a black man. It's a black hair man with we would call it 4C hair today. You feel me? So I'm a black man. My shit is 4 fucking C, my nigga. My shit is 4C. If I had it, it would be 4C. I'm a black man. I know why they call me Negro. Now, when you look at why did we go through so many name changes within the time? Because now to turn a Negro into a Christian means that we weren't Christian at the time. So what were we? Again, we practiced voodoo, hoodoo, and Santeria. You feel what I'm saying? But in order to get us to become Christians, they had to do the breaking of us. Because I don't think people really understand that as powerful, and this is not to be on no sexism, no feminism and misogynistic type shit, but to speak from the place that we're not under hierarchy, we're under harmony. But our men were just as powerful as our women when it came to the esoteric shit. But we had to kill the men first. We had to kill the men off the esoteric. We don't give a fuck about the women being esoteric because we can shut theirs down. But the men are physical with it. The women are spiritual with it or emotional with it. So they can poison you. A man can. Let me slow down. This is why I say there's a difference between masculine spirituality and feminine spirituality. Religion sides and aligns with feminine spirituality. masculinity does not operate under religion. But I have to give you this religion. I can't give just another, like when we talk about the missionaries that came over, we didn't give a fuck about their religion. They sent the missionaries first, then they sent the mercenaries. We always overlook that part. We always overlook that part. The only reason why we know that Haiti was at war, because Haiti won. Like, really sit and think. I say it all the time, and a lot of motherfuckers they laugh when I say it. They be thinking I be bullshit. I'm like, yo, we got jumped by the French, the English, and the Spanish. The French were who we beat the fuck up. The French caught the fade. We fucked them up on this side. Now, because we fucked them up on this side, they had to isolate and say, you know what? We're going to start calling everything by landmass. These are the Haitians. These are the Haitians. Those are the Americans. Those are the Central. Those are the Caribbeans. We're going to start to call them a different name, because we don't want it to be known that they're all the same people. And we came over to fight them, but some of them beat the fuck out of us. We only know that Napoleon won. We only know that Napoleon lost because they had to put the history in there to say we got to bleed Haiti because Haiti's this, that, and the third. They use Haiti as the demonic force. How did Haiti win? Study some real voodoo, like the history of it and shit. And they'll say, with no guns, no armies. Well, they had armies, whatever. They said with no guns, no firearms. They dropped Napoleon's army from 30,000 to 3,000. Now, some recordations of Napoleon's people, the records that was lost, is saying these people, this is what they called them, these people were erecting physical emanations out of the ground. They were erecting physical emanations out of the ground to fight. And those things could not be stopped. They feared them. This is why niggas fear Haiti now. This is also why they have to bleed they want to bleed the place dry and shit and try to kill. But you can't. You can't kill the power that is in Haiti, because that power that is in Haiti is the power that is in all of the Americas. Same power that spans across Africa. It goes wherever we are. You know why? Because it's tied to our genetics, which is our genetics of dominance, which is our Africoid genetics, which is tied to our eumelanin, which is tied to a lot of shit. And the politics will have you believe that only the Haitians went to war with the French. No, nigga, we went to war with the Romans. We went to war with different variations of the Romans. And the French were the parts of the Romans that got their ass whooped by the Haitians. Us in America, we lost. Us and everywhere else in Central America, we lost. Haitians were the only ones that actually won the fight. But it's like, because they won the fight, that part of the history is, they was only fighting Napoleon. No, nigga, we went to war with all of them. The English and the Spanish conquistadors, they was fucking with us too. You feel me? Now, the Spanish conquistadors is why we're called Negroes and Negras. And why during the war, we was fucking them up. But now it's like, how do we get them? How do we get to that point where we start to win and we start to beat them? And while we're beating them, we have to make sure they can't fight back. Now we make them prisoners of war. It wasn't until we became prisoners of war. It wasn't until we became prisoners of war that we accepted religion. I'm doing a dramatic pause with that because I feel like that's very, very important. It wasn't until we accepted the religion that we became prisoners of war. No. I said that backwards. It wasn't until we became prisoners of war that we accepted religion. We weren't Christians. You feel me? And now when we look at the Islam and shit, it's like, oh, well, yeah, Islam was doing to Africa what Christianity was doing to America. But these are all Abrahamic religions, which all stem back to the Roman Empire. So when the people from Africa were telling us, y'all ain't from here, y'all not us, it was never an insult. It was a point of fact. But the politics have already been so wired that it's thinking, oh, y'all are against us, y'all don't fuck with us. Y'all not us. We not y'all. That's why we succumb to something different from what y'all succumb to. You dig what I'm saying? But we've been at war with all of these people. And they don't look at it as war. And the reason why they feel vindicated by it is because they operate under the perspective of, you guys are, the Bible told us that we can put you guys to the sword. We're going to put to the sword all men, women, children, and cattle. And we're going to take the virgins for ourselves. This is why now it levels off to the Epstein shit that I was talking about. Like, this is biblical, nigga. They serve this God. This is why you always hear me say the God of your enemy is your devil. If you went to war with these niggas and now they made you prisoners of war and gave you your religion, you're now worshiping your devil. Because that same God that they ordained and they used to go to war with you is the God that they now gave you. That's your devil, my nigga. They brought hell to you. And now you're associating with their God? That's crazy. That's crazy. Insane. But I'm talking about that here in the Americas because I'm from the Americas. We're Africoid, but we're from the Americas. Just like they're Africoid, but they're from Africa. But that's why predominantly they operate under Islam. There are some Christians in Africa. Don't get me wrong, because Christianity did have its motion over there too. But for the dominant part of their enslavement, the sub-Saharan African, that 1,200-year run, that was crazy. You feel me? That was crazy. King Leopold, that nigga was under. We got to look at the blood. That shit came from the Roman Empire. You dig what I'm saying? They rebranded so much shit. Because that's really what they did. It was a rebrand. So now, I'm jumping all around because I'm getting into the politics. Now, when we look at the men, right? When we talk about why Napoleon and his army fell to the Haitians and why everybody fears Haitians, they fear Haitians for the very same thing that they fear the Americans for. Like, you feel what I'm saying? This is the reason why the white people call themselves Americans here. Like, where did the name America come from? Like, really sit and think about that shit. Like, take a moment to think about that shit. Go to England or go to wherever you case may be, because that's where they said they came from. They came from Great Britain. Why would you come from there and then name a land great? Like, every name that they came with, that they named these places with, was something that was connected to Britain. Why isn't America named like that? Like, sit with that. I'm going to explain why in a second, but sit with that. Like, feel me? Like, they have New York because in Britain, there's an old York. Like, everything over here that they have New Jersey, all of that shit, like, there's an old version over there. But you mean to tell me that they're calling them, the reason why they call themselves Americans is because they colonized the land. That's what they did. They would take the name of the land they conquered. They didn't rebrand, they didn't change the name. Go to what's his name? I'm gonna give you two examples because back in the time when they studied it, when they actually did it during the Roman Empire, it was never, we're changing the name of this. We're taking on the name because we conquered the land. The first was not Amerigo Vespucci. He's the second one that I'm going to mention here, and this is how we got it. But when you look at Africanus, people say Africa was named after Africanus after he beat Hannibal Barca. That's not what it was named after. His name was originally Cornelius Publio Cornelius Scipio. It's one of those three orders. It's either Publio Cornelius Scipio or Publio Cornelius Scipio or Cornelius Publio Scipio. His last name is Scipio originally. After he defeated Hannibal Barca, that's when he got the last name Canus, and he dropped the first two names. So people think his name is Scipio Africanus. That's not his name. His name is Cornelius Publio Scipio Africanus. He changed it to just Scipio Africanus because he conquered the land that Hannibal Barca ran. So what were they calling Hannibal Barca's land? Africa. So that means the name was already there. We can't say that, that was the Europeans' name. No, they didn't. They take on names after they colonize shit. Hey, bro, for real, though, at some point, we got to stop talking to women about masculinity and start talking to each other about it. And I mean really talk to each other. Not as enablers and co-signers, but as men trying to reach the pinnacle of our essence. And that's what the So Frail series does. So Frail 1 is the definition. So Frail 2 is the acknowledgement. And So Frail 3 is the resolution. If you rock with the So Frail conversations, I can guarantee you will rock with the So Frail series of books. So visit IamJustSeeing.com right now so you can add the series to your library. I promise you will never look at masculinity the same again, and you're going to stop wasting your time arguing with women about it. This is a conversation that men need to have between men, and it's time we start having this conversation now. I'm going to give you another example, then I'm going to take it to the science. And you're going to see how deep politics really is and what political power really is. The next motherfucker was Amerigo Vespucci. In history, they'll tell you Amerigo Vespucci came over here, and when he conquered as a Spanish conquistador, that's why the entire continent became... Amerigo Vespucci was from Spain. Only thing Amerigo Vespucci actually conquered and can be credited for as a Spanish conquistador is Cuba and Puerto Rico. Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican Republic. You mean to tell me those three islands are enough to call the entire continent, the North continent, the South continent, and the Middle continent, all America? North America, South America, Mesoamerica? Are you serious? He conquers 3 islands and we name the entire continent on him? Both of them, the North and the South? Something ain't right. But again, it's politics as usual. Political power means I have the science and the art to control the government in regards to the power, in regards to the ability, in regards to my ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner. They're making this act in a desired manner to make it look like they were in control this whole time. So again, I'm spinning it back. How in the fuck can you tell me that these niggas landed over here and changed the name to America? No. The reason why they're called Americans and they want to make America great again, they want to acknowledge that we beat y'all. And this is our country because we won. It was always called America. Like America was the name of the fucking continent. So much so. Now we're going to get into something. I wanted to save this episode, but I'm giving the alley-oop for a future episode to come. But just keep your eye open on this. This is why now we're going to get into a deeper aspect of politics. And now we're going to move into the science of the shit. First, before I go into the genetic side, I'm going to stick to the science of this. If you study the science, like Newton's law of motion, Hertz, Planck's constant, look at everything that had a name. All of this shit was these motherfuckers they didn't discover shit. And they did discover it. But understand that anytime you hear a European say they discovered something, it was already there. We seen it with Christopher Columbus. The fact is there. You feel what I'm saying? So now when we look at Hertz, now I'm going into physics now. So if these names don't sound familiar, I'm not talking about the car place, but going into the actual physics and shit. Like when you look at Hertz, when you look at Planck's constant, when you look at, who else? What's another one that I can name? Newton's laws. When you look at like Newton's laws, like how the fuck do you get the law for common sense? If an object in motion stays in motion, it's gonna that's not like, how did you take that on? Because what they did was when they found their little bits of information, all of the shit that's stored in the Vatican, because they got us convinced that the information that they got from Africa, they completely burned in Alexandria. No, you didn't, nigga. You burned the library down, but you didn't burn those books. You didn't burn those books. You needed those books. You took those books to the Vatican and you held it underneath the Vatican because you have the greatest library ever. Now, as these people got access to the library, they took on the science and they said, I'm going to put my name on this because I discovered it. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You took the mathematical equations and the understanding of it and you made that your last name. You ever wondered how there's no kids associated? Like, again, prideful motherfuckers. They will keep a bloodline alive. But have you ever noticed that there's no kids named after the people that are, like, if you study the science, there's no kids named after, like, you don't see any Hertz running around here. Hertz is the unit that is used to measure frequency over time. That's Hertz. You feel me? You don't see any Hertz over here. Like the niggas that ain't had no Hertz kids, you know, Isaac Newton, I've seen a few Newtons and shit. I'll give you that one. But like Planck's, you feel me? The Wise modulus, like there's a lot of scientific terms that people have taken on and said, we discovered this. You didn't discover it. You took the information from somebody and you put your name on it, like you always do. But it's deeper than just putting your name on it. You took the name on as if it was your own to make it seem like it was your creation, and it wasn't. So now we tie that all the way back. Well, move it forward, but we connect it to what I was just talking about. How did they land in America? If the name had to already be America. So much so that they fucked it up and it was like, yo, we thought we landed in India. That's why we called these niggas Indians when we got here. No, these was Americans. And we know that they're Americans and we knew that they were Americans and we changed the name back to Native Americans and said, because we went the wrong way. How did you know you went the wrong way? Because of Amerigo Vespucci. Because of history, oh nigga, we came over here to the Americas. We was coming to the Americas. Now, Amerigo Vespucci was one of the ones who didn't take it on as a last name. He did it as his first. Vespucci was who he was, but he takes on Amerigo because I'm conquering America. And we're not I'm conquering 3 islands, nigga, and I'm gonna name 3 continents. Well, it's really one big ass continent, and I'll explain that when I get into the next part that I'm about to alley-oop. But it's really one big ass landmass and continent. But between North America, Central America, and South America, we naming all of that shit America simply because I landed as Amerigo Vespucci. I landed on 3 continents. Ain't no fucking way. But the political power makes you believe that. So now you in school learning this shit, and it's like, yeah, that's how it happened. There was absolutely nothing over here when these niggas came. If there was nothing over here when these niggas came, what were they colonizing? What were they needing to go to war with people for? To the Haitian point, if there was nothing over here, how did the Haitian people, what, quote unquote, as they say, magic, were they using to erect like you have to know the land to be able to erect an emanation from that land and send it to attack people. Now, when you see what people say, and I just seen this post because I Show Speed he was on this, he was doing his live thing, and he was like, they were showing this thing that was swirling in a circle, and it was like, there's no body in it. And it was like, you got to rebuke that in the name of Jesus and be covered by the blood and shit like that. That was what the Haitians used to defeat Napoleon's army, nigga. The God of your enemy is your devil. But when you and your enemy serve the same God, one of y'all is worshiping the devil, and one of y'all is going to be against your own God. And I'm making the connection because now it's like, well, Scene, I thought you said if I Show Speed was in Africa and this was Haiti, and I thought you said that we was already over here and everything. We're Africoid genetics. Fuck the landmass, fuck the borders. It's in our DNA because we have dominant genetics. Now, this goes into the next point that I want to make. There's going to be an alley-oop for the next part, which is a part of political power. The lost city of Atlantis. Atlantis was not a city. Atlantis is a continent. Atlantis is a continent that sits under the ocean. Now, nigga, are you saying that, you feel me, we aqua creatures and shit, we mermaids and all of that shit? No. That's not what I'm saying. When you understand the map, they got you arguing, politics as usual. They got you arguing about, is the earth flat or is it round? It's both. So much so that you don't look at the earth from left to right. You look at the earth from top down. This is why geography also pairs with topography. This is why it's very important that they always let you know, one, the world is the world is governed by maritime laws. It's a reason for that. But two, they always reference anything. They reference any land as how high or how low it is above or below sea level. You feel what I'm saying? They were like, this particular mountain, like if you look at Mount Everest, what is its measurements? 10,000, it's like 10,000 feet above. It ain't really 10,000, it's like 30,000. Mount Everest, the highest, like 30,000 something feet above sea level. Like everything is, the reference point is at sea level. The reason why is because you have to look at the world. You have to look at the globe from the top down. That's why topography is so important. That science of topography. Here's why I'm saying that. Because the lost city of Atlantis, when you have the ice age that occurred and shit started melting, where do you think water is going to flow? It's going to take the path of least resistance. So the world that we're looking at, when they say Pangea made everything separate, no, the world has already been in a position that is not connected. You feel me? You have depth. You have like how the Grand Canyon looks. Imagine the world like that. You have to stand. You can stand on top of the Grand Canyon and look down into it. You feel me? As a basin, right? The Atlantic Ocean, the Bermuda Triangle, all of that. That is the first place where that's where the Atlanteans lived. Now, as the Ice Age came and then the Ice Age went and it started melting, that water had to go somewhere. And it went down into the basins that filled up the oceans. Now, because the ice was all the way around as it melted, now it creates the separate oceans that are still all connected as one big ass body of water. How? Because now it looks as if the water itself it looks as the landmass separated because, we're going to call it plate tectonics because we do feel earthquakes. And if we tell these motherfuckers like over 15 million years ago, like, no, it's simpler than that. The water melted. The ice melted and it filled the basins and created the oceans. And as the ice melted, because it happened over time, the people that were in Atlantis rose and they climbed higher and higher to the different lands and became the Americas, that became the Australias, that became the Asias, that became the Africas, that became the Antarcticas. The reason why I'm saying that is because every single country, every single continent on this planet, and this is what associates with the lost city of Atlantis and the Atlantic people. Every city of every continent starts and ends with the letter A for a reason. to give nod back to the people that originally named these places. You feel what I'm saying? These weren't named by Europeans. The only country that doesn't start and end with an A is Europe. Why? Why? But now it puts things into perspective, because white people, that when they tell their history, when they tell their story, you feel me? And now this goes into Frail melanin and shit like that. When they tell their story, they start at 10,000 BC. They talk about the Ice Age. They talk about the Neanderthal. Now, here's why it's important. Why would you name your continent Europe? Because when they came to this planet from the icy moon Europa that surrounds Jupiter, you could look all of this shit up. They're not going to tell you. You just got to figure it out. They're trying to make it back to Europa, because when they got to Earth, right? When they got to Earth, they landed in the area that was the Caucasus Mountains or whatever the case may be. But that's where the Ice Age was the heaviest. It was cold there. They were able to function there. You're starting to see it now. I'm gonna play out. I'm gonna talk about it a little bit. Why Trump wants Greenland. It's the reason why that nigga want Greenland, because Greenland is where it's cold. I know they flipped them. Iceland is the Greenland and Greenland is the Iceland. And that was named back in the day because it was like, if we call it the other, they're not going to want the other one. So we call it Greenland and send everybody to the wrong place. They go to Greenland, is where the ice is. Then we're going to go to Iceland, which is where all the green is. They're going to go to Greenland to see where the ice is, and they call it Iceland where the green is. And we're going to send the people to the wrong place. The reason why they need Greenland, they want Greenland now, is because we're now moving into cosmological spring. We're already in cosmological spring with the age of Aquarius. Right? That means it's going to start being hot for 18,000 years. Now you got to study Nabta Playa for that, which is in Egypt. You got to study that information because they charted the astrological zodiac sign, which then goes into understanding the Mayans who created the same situation. But where did they get the information from? The Atlanteans. But I'm going to get to that real quick, and I'm going to talk about the Europa. So they come from the planet Europa, from the icy moon Europa. So when they left Europa and they landed on Earth, it was the same conditions. They never anticipated the weather changing. Now they're fucking up because they're trying desperately to get out of here. This is the reason why they're building bunkers. This is the reason why they're trying to move higher and higher up to Greenland and Antarctica. Like, they're trying to get to colder places because that's where they survive. Now they're saying, okay, if we can manipulate the weather, they're learning how to manipulate the weather. I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing snow in summertime. But now it's going to fuck with them because it's like they have to do this because it's like, oh, that ice age was just winter. It was cosmological winter. It wasn't. It didn't match the conditions. It didn't permanently match the conditions on the icy moon Europa. You feel me? So now you land here, and you land and then it's like in the middle of Asia. You just bam. We're gonna call this Europe, and it's a reason why again it starts and ends with the same letter. Every continent. North America, South America. We'll pair Central America with it, but North America, South America, Antarctica, Africa, Asia, and Australia. So there's only 6, but they tell you that there's 7 continents, and the 7th one is Europe. But it's the reason why they put the A's at the beginning, because that's how the Atlanteans named those areas when they colonized them. But the Atlanteans never colonized from the war's perspective. They went and they taught people. You feel what I'm saying? What they did in Egypt was the last remnants of what remains. What they did in Americas was conquered and removed. You feel me? So this is why, because they didn't understand a lot of the shit that was happening. I'm gonna get deeper into this. So because they didn't understand a lot of shit that was happening, that's when you get the Mayan calendar saying, oh, we're predicting the end of the world in 2012 when it was supposed to happen, or 2021 or whatever, but it was the end of the Aquarian age. The same Mayan calendar that they broke down was the same Dendera chart that is in Kemet. It's not that we were here and we're all of them, because we're all genetically dominant from the Atlantean bloodline. So now when you study the Atlanteans and they're like, these people they weren't human. We started the Atlanteans, the Anunnaki, all of these different people. It's like, these people weren't human. Where did they come from? Who are they? You feel me? They are us. Now it's like, because you create the mysticism and the you create the mysticism of it, you can't fathom the basicsness, the basic side of it. That it's like, oh, yo, it's human like us. So when you look at the people that are Amazonians, the Amazons, and all of this shit, like, it's like, why are these people so big? Like, where did we go? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where did we go? We didn't go anywhere. We didn't go anywhere. We just succumbed to political power. Real political power we succumb to it. So now when they say, why are black people's names, black people in America, why is our names being changed every 10 to 20 years? That's why, nigga, we're going to make sure that y'all get further and further and further from the truth. Y'all went from Negroes. And this is like, how did nigger become a slur? Because it was, when you were in the South, it started with the niggers. Niggers. But negra, was the black-haired woman with the curly, kinky hair. That's why the hair has always been something that's been a problem for us. We don't realize how tied to that it is. You feel me? Let's get our hair straight. I'm no black. I know black. When niggas say I know black, look at their hair. They don't realize that, again, the indoctrination in the program has gotten so deep that you forget the root, that they say I'm no black because of my skin. No, you know black because you have straight hair. You're moreno. They tell you all the time, Boricua moreno. Boricua. This is why this is why, you know what I'm saying, especially from the New York's perspective, it's like, yo, the Puerto Ricans, they still black and shit. No, you're Boricua. Boricua is the black person who has the straight hair. That's why they add the moreno. But if you're not Boricua, moreno, you're nigga. You a nigga, bro. You feel me? So that's why it's crazy. Like when you hear people like, you know, Fat Joe and shit like that, it's like, I get why y'all saying nigga. I get why y'all saying nigga, but y'all don't get why y'all saying nigga. So that's why it's like, yo, I'm Rican though. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm like, no, nigga. You're a Boricua. You're not a nigga. You're a Boricua moreno. You're not a nigga. Now, we went through the same atrocities, and that's what we trying to, but you can't, if you're going to be it, you got to be it. If you're not, you're not. You can't separate it when it's convenient for you. But that's what they allowed because it's politics. Because now, like I said, this was a war, nigga. This was a war. The only people of the war that won were the Haitians. Everybody else lost. Haitians were the only ones that won. This is why dark-skinned people are so hated. This is one of the reasons why dark-skinned people are hated, and the layers to the shit. Because it's like, okay, now in addition to that, we're going to vilify we got to vilify voodoo. We're going to vilify hoodoo. We're going to vilify all of that shit. You feel me? But now we still going to layer it within our people because it's like, nah, we can't eliminate it. But now it's been gone for so long. We don't even know the separate. We don't know where religion starts and where spirituality begins. You feel what I'm saying? So in their politics of, okay, we beat y'all. We sent the missionary. We sent the missionaries to see what the lay of the land was, to, you know, tell y'all about this religion. Nigga, we don't fuck with this shit, nigga. Now we're going to send the mercenaries. You're going to fuck with it. Because now we have to guarantee that after this war is over, you can't fight us again. Because treaties are when I have a mutual respect for you. But when I want to destroy you completely, I'm going to give you the religion to justify the shit. This is why when you hear me, I don't remember what episode it was, but I got an episode a couple seasons back where I was like, there's two chosen people. Which one are you? Are you the chosen people who are designed to be enslaved for 400 years? Or are you the chosen people who's supposed to put to the sword all men, women, children, and cattle? The people that gave you the religion are the ones who believe that they are the ones who are supposed to put to the sword all men, women, children, and cattle and take the virgins for themselves. You believe that you the motherfucking cursed motherfucker who's going to be for 400 years, who's going to be because of fucking whatever, the Deuteronomy 28 shit. You believe you're that nigga. You the Hebrews. Politics as usual. Politics needs religion too. Politics works best with religion. So now when you look at America being a nation under God, why you think it's the Christians? Why you think it's so Christianic? You feel me? That ain't a word, but why you think it's under Christianity? Because this is the God that we're going to put this nation under. Nigga, this ain't never been your God. In fact, you guys never served gods. You served Loas. You served Orishas. And not even that. I'm not even going to say serve. Like, think about how this changed. Like, when I started studying spirituality for real, one thing that always stuck out to me, and it really helped me understand the power of spirituality for real, they never served deities. It was always wild when I learned it, because it's like, all my life I've been thinking I'm supposed to serve God. You know, I'm supposed to praise God. We command. In spirituality, we command. Like, we don't ask for shit. We tell them and it's like, you don't, and your religion teaches you to come to God, Allah, and this shit like a beggar. Like, you saw, can you do this for me? You know, and spirituality is, hey, homie, look, hey, go do this, bro. I got you on the front end. You can't get them on the back end. It's like, yo, I don't want to make it seem like they mercenaries and shit, because it's not always negative shit that you could do. Like, when you need something, for example, if I need a if I'm trying to achieve a goal or whatever the case may be, and I need a path cleared, right? I'm gonna connect with the right source of that path or whatever the case may be, and I'm gonna give them something that is of value. Now, here's the thing about it: because of how religion has made it, we think, oh, just constantly give money, constantly give money, and it's like that's what all deities don't like money, nigga. And sometimes like the money does what you're giving has to make sense for what you're asking for. You dig what I'm saying? What you're giving has to make sense for what you're asking for. They've now reduced you to the point where you think I go and put 10% of my 10% of what I've earned in the church and God's going to bless me. God don't like money, nigga. Gods don't like money, nigga. Deities don't like money, nigga. That's why your shit don't be coming through the way it's supposed to. You have to give something that's in relation to what you're asking for. And it has to have enough substance and merit that it means something. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, if I'm asking for, I don't want to give too much out because I don't want to tell y'all too much about shit because y'all get scary and shit. Y'all start practicing shit without understanding what you're practicing. And then you're going to come to me like, yo, Scene, you said do this. I ain't say do that shit. I said understand. I said what I fucking do and shit. My bad. I had internal monologue and shit because that's how y'all niggas speak. But okay, cool. I'm going to use this one. I have a jam session called Glitching Within the Matrix. I say physical veneration. My lyrics be the libation I'm pouring out for my guides. Me living keeps them alive and well. Now, my gym sessions, I can say this part because it's like, yo, you drop gym sessions, nigga. You drop Polycafe flows for a reason. My gym sessions are if I need something given to me. Like, it's like, yo, I need y'all to open a portal for this. I need y'all to go set me up to be in a position for this. You have to give us a song. Not no bullshit. Like, not no bullshit. You can't be on no, I said hip, hop. That sounds some bullshit, but I'm saying like, I can't be in that space. I have to actually go deliver a message that they need me to deliver. And I have to do it in a phonetic way that is cryptic enough and strong enough and potent enough to get out. In addition to that, I have to know how to mix it. I have to know how to master it. I have to record it properly. And I have to make sure I do not skip corners on any parts of this song. So when they give me the message, I'm like, all right, cool. What you need me to say? You feel me? And now when that comes down, like if you actually listen to my Polycafe flows, that is never me. Like the shit that I'm saying, like I can put it together well, but it's like, that something else is speaking through me. You feel me? So now it's like, if I do my part, that's why I mentioned that jam session, physical veneration, my lyrics be the libation I'm pouring out for my guides, me living keeps them alive and well. I try and learn, no time to fail. I rise too well because I do well while they do. Well, I mean, they do it. I do that because it's like, we're going to give you everything you need to say. Now you have to make the beat. You have to put like, once the bar comes, it's beautiful because it's like, for me, it's like when I go and ask for something, I'm like, yo, I need y'all to open up this so I can get this, I can get this. And it's like, and to the point, that's why I tied my music into my business model. So when I need to move something, like I need podcast streams, I need this and the third, it's like, all right, we'll help you get all of that, but this is what you need to do for us. You feel me? This is what you need to do for us. You have to say what we need you to say. You feel me? And if you say what we need you to say, we got you. And you got to say it how we need you to say it. So my flow will start like this. And I know this is like, yo, what are you getting? It's going to get to political power in a sense. So my flow will start like, I'll hear a song or something, or they'll put the song in my head. And it's like, yo, that's the tempo you need to rap to. Okay. Sometimes I go actually look at the song and I just put that song on repeat and I start writing to it. Or other times I'll put the tempo on and write to that. Most of the times though, it's going to be, I'm going to put the beat on the actual song and I'm going to write to that first. And then I'm going to make the beat afterwards once I get all the lyrics and I see how I'm going to say it. Because when the song comes on, it's like how that song is, knowing how I write, it's like everything you're going to say has to be said. It's going to be said perfectly in this. But now when you put your own beat to it and you add the bass lines, you add this, that, and the third, we're going to also give you that too. And we're going to put all of this together. You're going to mix it. You're going to master it. You're going to produce it. And then you're going to upload it. And then we're going to, now once that's out for you, we got you. We got you. Now you got to do the work. You feel me? So it's like, I said all of that to say, you've been given. So let me finish that point. So once that happens, I go through the process, I've recorded and everything, and then that's how you get the Polycafe flows, where I say shit like, What's another one I got in King's Vizier when I said the wolves are pleased. The wolves, he was like, I said stay woke, even though they did gentrify the word, they couldn't erase that essence because that isn't how this works. The woke mob isn't us. We were consciously aware and shit. They don't even know what a woman is, so we do not compare to them or they. They infiltrated saying men have menstruation. We were teaching better eating, shortened times of menstruation. Erasure was intention for the checkers on the chessboard. Got the pawns jumping all over. It was all over when Wakanda went forever by the sequel. Those people showed up in Dashiki just to need the Florida presidential living quarters. I would keep going, but I like that flow. That's King's Vizier. You can check it out. But I was trying to get to a point where I can actually have the full setup, the scheme. But the actual bar that I was saying was, gods are back to niggas, goddesses are back to bitches now. Went from nation building down to splitting bills within the house. How the mighty have fallen is kind of appalling, but rather repelling, depending on which side of the feeling you're on. We were this close, we almost put religion down. I was told to say that verbatim. Verbatim. Like, and so when I'm writing, it's like, I'm asking, hey, I need this opened up. I'm trying to get to this level. I'm trying to do this. It's like, all right, well, this is what we need from you. So when you're given a religion that says, if you give your 10% to God, you'll always be blessed or whatever the case may be. That's not how you give to your deities. That's not how you give back to Source. Source will tell you what it needs you to give it. You feel what I'm saying? So now when you following a deity that'll tell you that you needed to, what it needs you to give it, and then you give it something, it's like, I don't really fuck with that. And this, the reason why I'm saying that is because you got a story of Cain and Abel. The reason why Cain killed Abel was because God gave them fucked up, God told them to give him a sacrifice, and he knew he was only going to like one. And Cain got jealous and killed Abel for it. We keep talking about that was the first sin, and like, we don't look at how many times God has put his creations against each other or did some fucked up shit. Because now you have to wonder, like, nigga, why are you doing this? You feel me? He told Cain and Abel. Cain killed Abel because God said, I want an offering from both of you. And he made Cain the gardener, basically. You feel me? He was a part of the grains and all of that shit that fed Abel's flock. So when it was time to give the offering, Cain gave the offering of the grain. I give you my greatest grain that I have grown. And his brother gave the choicest meat, the fattest meat, that whatever. And God said, I like his better. Oh, nigga, you told me what to grow. You didn't even let me be that kind of farmer. You didn't let me be that. You told me to grow the grain, and then you don't even like what I gave? Okay, that's fucked up. Now, I mentioned that because when you're given this universal thing that you got to keep giving in the name of God, no. What is the 10% that you're supposed to give? 10% of what was given to you to give to the world has to go back to Source. I have the gift of oration. I have to get the thought. I have to get the speech. I have so much shit to give out. And music is the easiest way for me to give it all at one time. When I have to give a message, when I have to give a word, it's like, yo, this is what we need you to give. You feel me? Now, my spirit team is dope. They'll tell me what they need. Now, we're very amicable because it's like, yo, you like to rap. We got a lot of shit to talk. We're going to talk through you. Now, you just got to be in a position where you can give what we need you to give. You feel me? And over time, just keep refining, keep getting better. And when we tell you the message, give it. Okay. Case in point, niggas is like, yo, how are you at 300 and something podcast episodes? And how do you go for so long? It ain't me talking. It ain't me, nigga. It ain't me. On some real shit. But it's me because it's like, okay, what we need you to do is go study. We need you to go learn all of this. Like, it's like, okay, I want this particular thing. It's like, okay, cool. Go study this. What am I studying at? Don't ask no motherfucking questions. They don't really say that shit, but you know, it's like, don't ask no question. Just go study the shit. You feel me? Now here's what we need you to say. Okay. Just like that. Just like that. That's why it's like, when people be hitting me up, it's like, yo, what you said, I don't know what I be talking about in these episodes. I really don't. I don't remember shit. Like after I finish and I'm done recording this shit, I just know when it's time to wind down, because that's when if you notice, like my episodes always cut off at the right time, just before I say, you know what? Now it's like, yo, I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. Like that moment is when I come back. It's like, yo, you said all you needed to say. So it is what it is. And that's the power of the shit. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Because that's what it really means to actually honor a deity, because you don't ask for shit. This goes into, I'm getting into the political power and all of this shit works because I want to get into my, you know, how the brothers work and shit. But you don't ask for shit. You command them. But you got to give them something first. You got to give them something first. You can't just, oh, I'm going to give my 10%. I'm going to go to a church that I know is sinister and I know is doing some fucked up shit. And I'm going to put 10% in that motherfucker. I know these niggas is trafficking babies. I know the pastor is fucking 8 bitches in this motherfucker. I know the pastor been molesting little boys, and I'm still gonna put 10% of my money in this motherfucker. It's political power. It's the political power to convince you to do that shit. You feel what I'm saying? So now, as I was mentioning with that, it's like, yo, you command your ancestors. You command your ancestors, your spirits. You don't ask them for shit. I don't. And in addition to that, you don't come on no play shit, nigga. They know you. The fuck? They know exactly who the fuck you are. But now, because we have taken on the religion that makes us performative, we don't get to be. Like, when I tell people I talk like how I'm talking right now is like, because they talk, how I'm talking right now is how they talk through me. And how they talk through me is how I talk to them. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you can tell when they giving it too fast, because I gotta slow it down. I'm like, hold on, let me catch it, my nigga. Like, I got you. But you feel me? It's exactly what needs to be said, when it needs to be said, and how it needs to be said. Like, motherfuckers be like, you know, and this is one of the things, I'm gonna get right back on track. It's just me having to talk this shit. But it's like, when I tell people, it's like, I used to get mad at like being so far ahead of my time and talking about shit that niggas ain't talking about yet. And it's like, I get it now. It's like, yo, nigga, we need you to say this way before it's time to be said. You feel me? Hopefully some motherfuckers will listen to it. You know what I'm saying? But now it now takes into another level, because it's like, okay, in addition to that, here's what you need to do to get what we need. So it's like, I'm going to say this, and then I might be about to wrap it up. You feel me? And this goes into political warfare, because it's like, when it comes to branding, advertising, and marketing, it's like, you have to push our message too. Yeah, you did your part by giving it to us, by us letting us be in the conduit that we can actually speak to. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying we, because it's like, a lot of people talk about, you know, monotheism. Monotheism was given, I think I had a podcast episode recently on that, but monotheism was given solely because they don't want you to access the actual forces of nature that is speaking through you. You feel what I'm saying? If you believe in a generic God, you'll never understand what individual force of nature fucks with you. For me, I got oration, I got thought, it's mainly oration and thought. Everything else is just an extension of that. Now, those are two, I'm not trying to toot my horn, but those are among two of the highest forces of nature. You feel me? We call them gifts, but whatever the case may be, but we don't open the gifts and do shit with them. But I got the gift of oration, I got the gift of thought. I can break down some information to its absolute simplest component, and I can deliver a message the way a nigga need to hear it, in any way, shape, or form. And it's like, that comes into understanding what deity, which is the highest conceptualization of the mind, applies to me in that regard. I got so many other gifts, but those two are some of the ones. It's like, so it manifests like this. But it's like, because you're giving that, to whom much is given, much is required. It's like, yeah, if you're going to ask us to help you with some shit, if you're going to tell us what the fuck to do, nigga, here's what the fuck you got to do. You feel me? So it goes into what I was saying about, you know, I study a lot. I have to study a lot, because it's like, when we give you this message, this is what you need to say. But how do you know what you need to say if you don't have enough to say? You feel what I'm saying? So for me, it's always an ongoing thing. And that's the synergy that it creates. You have to create the synergy with your spirit team. You have to create the spirit synergy with your guides. And the reason why I said that is because when we understand the political warfare, that's how they beat us as men. See, so for our conversations, baby, like I brought this all the way back. When we look at men not having a spiritual practice, it's for this very reason. Because of the political warfare. Like, y'all are prisoners of war. We're going to call y'all slaves. Politics. It's we're going to call y'all slaves. We're going to rebrand you every time, so we can make sure that you don't understand what really happened. Because your position changes when you know that you're a prisoner of war. You feel me? All of the motherfuckers that we know and we don't want this militant spark to happen. So we're going to give you the religion. We're going to keep moving shit and moving goalposts to make sure that everything changes. So now when you look at the politics of it all, what have we now defined as a man? What have we defined as a man? What is the argument nowadays? Oh, that's toxic masculinity. The masculinity that will actually go to, like, all that's happening is the energy is misdirected. That's it. Y'all are going to pray for toxic masculinity when it's time to actually go to war. Because these niggas that wanted to dismantle patriarchy and shit, all of these motherfuckers that are on the side of the wrong shit, it's like, why are y'all so soft? Why are y'all so soft? Because this is the politics. This is the political power. The political power made this shit. Oh, these men are feminine. They're comfortable with their side. And it's just like, who's going to fight? Now, when you look at what patriarchy is, now, in order for us to go to war with patriarchy, we have to get back in harmony. We can't get back in harmony if we still under dominion and submission. Now we have our men our men have largely moved into the space of submission, not dominion. We'll dominate against ourselves and our people, but we won't dominate against them. We submit to them. That's war shit. That's war shit. You feel what I'm saying? And it's crazy because now when you hear shit like women say, well, black men are the white men. Black men are white men to the black community. How white men are to black people is how black men are to the white community. Duh, nigga, we lost. We lost the war, but we don't even know that we're in a war because it's the political power. You feel me? So now you have the leaders that are like the leaders that can't lead. You feel what I'm saying? And it's this design that has made it this way because it's the political power. You feel me? They control the mind the way that they need to control the mind. And it's hard to get the mind out of that mind control. It's really hard because it's like there's so many different layers. They teach you every single day the history. They give you the fucking history every single day to remind you, you lost. But we're not even going to tell you went to war with us. But we're going to make sure that anybody who did go to war with us that won, we're going to vilify them and make sure that you think that they're evil. Niggas don't fuck with Haitians. Why niggas don't fuck with Haitians? Because they think, oh, Haitians, they're demonic. No, they're not. They're demonic in the context that they fighting against their oppressor. The fuck? But again, now when you look at how demonic Christianity really is, when you look at how demonic Islam really is, because they were both used to enslave you, like that was war. Like the sub-Saharans, like we don't even look at it the right way. The transatlantic slave trade and the sub-Saharan slave trade were fucking war. Abrahamic religions declared war on black people, bro. That's it. They declared war on Africoid genetics. That's it, nigga. And they made sure that it was written in their doctrine that they could do this to justify themselves. That's a different level of psychosis that you're dealing with. You feel what I'm saying? But it's political power. Now it's like, as men, how do we fight that shit? Motherfuckers, now it's like, how do you protect and provide? When I was talking about this in So Frail 3, I said, you got to protect and provide physically, mentally, and spiritually. We cannot protect and provide spiritually because our women don't want to let this shit go. But in addition to that, we're not able to give them anything that they can replace it with. You feel what I'm saying? I was dealing with a woman like not too long ago, about a year ago or whatever. And we was kicking it back in the day, like 7 years prior. You feel me? Now, when we met, I'm on some spiritual growth type shit. I really was studying and learning and going all this shit. So I didn't fuck with Christianity and I still don't fuck with it now. Fast forward, she like, you want to come to church with me? Oh, nigga, you went backwards. Oh, shit, no. Why? They got good messages. I don't fuck with church. I don't fuck with Christianity. I don't fuck with none of that shit. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know how you did because it's like we had conversations like, what were you playing or like what it is? And it's like shit like that is like, how are we going to free our people if we can't get our women off of religion? Now you want me to protect and provide for you, but I can't protect and provide for you spiritually because you don't know that you're in spiritual danger because of the religion that you follow. That's scary. Women don't know that they're in spiritual danger. Men are the only ones. We're the only ones that can bring them out of this, but we can't because we follow this shit too. Because when she is looking at, okay, what is you have to actually go in and break it down. This is why I was saying patriarchy in the form of religion, well, religion as an extension of patriarchy doesn't create men. It creates sons. It turns boys to sons. It doesn't turn boys to men. Because if you're actually studying this religious doctrine and you realize it don't make sense and you still follow it, that's your dumbass fault. Now you're leading another person into the danger that's keeping you bound as a prisoner of war. So now if I meet a woman and she's religious and shit, and she like, I say this all the time. I don't fuck with, and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna wrap it up. I can't fuck with the women, and this is part of the politics, the political powers. I can't fuck with religious women. And a lot of people say, oh, nah, that's because you know, no, I can't. Because either she's gonna come out of the shit or it's not gonna work. I can't go back into it. I can't. Now, if she wants me to be the protector and provider, and she's gonna take my lead, you have to accept that I gotta lead you out of some shit that you don't really want to be out of. So now when we go and we have these Bible studies and I break down and I start to show you that, oh, this ain't what you thought it was. Oh, you didn't know that part? Oh, you've been, yeah, now it's going to fuck with you because now you have to make a decision because now you have to realize if she's really going to let go and how is she going to treat the shit? Like the shorty that I was talking about. I was teaching her. I wasn't just saying put the white man's religion down. I never say that to anybody. I say understand why that motherfucker gave it to you. You feel what I'm saying? Understand what it took to make a Negro a Christian. Now, again, I use Negro because Negro was the curly, kinky haired man. You have to make the man a Christian. The woman was easy to get because we can make the woman a Christian by buck breaking the men, by tying them to horses and ripping them apart. We can emotionally get her, but we can't emotionally get the man, especially a masculine man who's operating under harmony from the matriarchal perspective, not the patriarchal perspective of hierarchy and dominance. Oh, he's in harmony. He's in harmony. You're not playing with him on this shit. You're not playing with him on this shit. He gonna fuck you up and not feel bad about it. He's not gonna feel the guilt. He's not gonna feel the shame because he's already ascended to a different level that can spark a militant mind, which is the Mashiach energy, which is what J. Edgar Hoover feared, the rise of a black messiah. Because it's not one individual person that's gonna come save everybody. It's the masculine man who restores and says, put this bullshit the fuck down. Where did we last see that? In Haiti. We saw it in motherfucking Haiti when I want to say, I get their names mixed up, but I know both of them. It was either it was either Dessalines or Overture or L'Overture, where he was saying, give the white man back his God, you are free. It was a man that did that, not the women. It was the man. We keep saying, oh, we got to go back to patriarchy. Even if you go back to we got to go back to matriarchy. You can't go back to matriarchy under the patriarchal political power. That's what you're trying to do. And what do you do when you go back to matriarchy under the patriarchal political power? You get fucking feminism, nigga. Does that work? Fuck no. It's still losing. You feel me? True matriarchy is about putting the child first, and two, getting back to harmony between masculine and feminine. That's what matriarchy was about. It wasn't about who was the leader and who was dominating and who was submissive. It was in who was in harmony with each other for masculine and feminine. Niggas don't even know what masculine and feminine is anymore because they're calling masculine dominant and they're calling feminine submissive. Nigga, what? That's not nature, nigga. That's Caucasian. Nigga. That's that religious bullshit, and that's that religious bullshit that you now have to deal with. So now, as I said, when I'm talking to women, it's like, yo, I want it, like, you can't fuck with me because you're religious. I'm not willing to make you lose your mind. Because I know that you're not able to get through this. Because now what do I have to teach you? I have to teach you all esoteric sciences myself. I ain't gonna hold y'all, bro. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna really wrap it up because it's tied to political party. I get tired as a man, bro. I get tired of always having to teach astrology, numerology, tarot, human design, and the tree of life and esoteric magic. These are the 6 esoteric sciences that I practice right now. But I get tired of having to teach that to a new woman every time. Like, this is why I'm low-key thinking, like, I'm going to have to be single. Because it's like, if I'm going to lead her spiritually, I have to teach her these things. But then I also have to teach her these things in conjunction with the religion. You can't do both. Because the religion is just, this is why I talked about the reading comprehension level. You feel what I'm saying? I have to elevate you to the point of understanding it how I do. Then I have to push you to that level. That shit's exhausting, man. That shit's exhausting, especially when women are now programmed because of the propaganda and the shit and the political power that all men are incompetent. Like, you're not going to listen to me because I'm a black man, because we fucked that shit up. Like when I just had a conversation, when I was talking about why men's voices ain't deep, and all the women was like, nigga, that's bullshit. I'm not listening to that. Nigga, I study this shit. I can tell you where it's at. And then when it's like, I give you the information, now you go research and you find it, you like, oh, he was right. You can't even come give me my apology. You're not even willing to change your mind. You wouldn't, like, I got to deal with that on an intimate level, nigga. I got to deal with that on an intimate level. That's crazy, bro. But at the same time, that's what this political power is about. As men, you have to be ready for that shit. If you want political power, you got to start dismantling religion. It is what it is, my nigga. That's why I'm like, yo, I can't fuck with no. That's why it's like when we look at our leaders. When we look at our leaders and shit, it's like, this is why being tied to religion is so important, especially Christianity. We're going to get them in march in the streets, put the Christians in there. It's political power, bro. It's political power because we know that Christianity destroyed the Negro. We know that the Christianity has already destroyed the Negro. What do we know the Negro is? It's the black man. It's the black man in America. You feel what I'm saying? It's the black man in America that we went to war with, that we now have as a prisoner of war right now, currently. And we're gonna constantly demoralize them. We're gonna constantly emasculate them. We're gonna constantly put him in these spaces. We're gonna create a prison system in which he's only 13% of the motherfucking population, but he's gonna create up to 85% of the prisons. Political power. You feel what I'm saying? We're gonna make sure that we continually, on a regular basis, make sure that this nigga cannot do what we need him to do. He cannot rebel. He cannot respond to us. And he's not even gonna realize that He's not even going to realize how many gaps is between the buffers we have in place, because he'll never understand political power. He'll never understand political power because he'll think it's voting. Nigga, what? That's part of patriarchy, bro. Like, as men, we got to dismantle this shit. And we can't dismantle it if, we're going to dismantle it in a way that we're going to give women and make... No, fuck that shit. Like, you got to give back religion, nigga. You got to destroy religion. Fuck that. The women going to fall in line, bro. Women going to fall in line. And this is the problem that I was having this shit, because it's like, in addition to that, you have to also factor in, how do you erase that? Like, I tell women, it's like, who want to come on to me and shit. It's like, I'm woke too. Or I think like this. You can't, baby. You're religious. You feel me? I had women ask me and shit like, well, how would you feel if we got together and I still went to church? Nigga, that's you, but you're not taking my kids in there. So we're not even going to play that game. Because I know that's what you want to do. I know that you think, okay, yeah, because I still got to if you still got to get the word, you're still addicted to oppression. I can't fuck with you, baby. As men, we got to be comfortable saying that shit. Especially as the times are changing. I can't fuck with you, baby. I might put that on the shirt. I can't fuck with you, baby. But nah, it's like, I've had conversations like this. Like, yo, why don't you come to church with me? It's just one day. It ain't gonna hurt. Nigga, no, I can't fuck with you, baby. You comfortable being oppressed? I'm not. Because that's the first way in which they oppressed us. Because after we went to war and we lost, and after we went to war, that's what they put on us. Like hoodoo, Santeria, like I said, hoodoo, voodoo, and Santeria are the things that we hide underneath the religions. Because we had to keep them alive, but now we don't know that they're hidden anymore. You feel what I'm saying? And so now that they replaced the man altogether, because it's like, okay, the warrior is gone. The warrior wasn't just the motherfucker who fought. The warrior was the motherfucker who was able to have political power. Now, this is why I was talking about, I forgot what episode it was, where I was just talking about diplomacy and the three bloodlines and shit, the war and diplomacy and shit. It ties into political power. How much political power do you really have if you're not able to do anything but physically fight? You feel what I'm saying? Physically fight. And I know it's just like, yo, scene, you just one motherfucker. I am just one motherfucker, but one motherfucker bring two motherfuckers bring four. You feel me? And I'm in a position now where I'm teaching my brothers this shit. You feel me? Masculinity, so frail. That's the blueprint, bro. Trading and investing, that's what I'm getting to. It's like, we can get to a point where we don't need that many motherfuckers, bro. You really don't. Warren Buffett is one motherfucker, and he can control the entire market and shit. You get 10 motherfuckers that understand the market in that regard, and you can control when it's... Nigga. If y'all don't want us to fight, y'all don't want us to play your game, cool, we won't. But at the same time, we'll destroy your game from the inside out. Somebody had to go in and do it. I happen to be a person who was able to go in and figure this out, but I understood it from the perspective of what we're actually dealing with. You feel me? The political power that we don't have, but understanding what political power is. It's beyond just, I can give a motherfucking politician a check and make him do what I want to do. No, I've gone far beyond that part of the political party. I understand the art and the science of government now. And I understand how political this shit is, of the stories that they tell of our people, and making sure that we're not privy to what the fuck is really happening. You feel me? This is not my first rodeo here. This is not my first lifetime here. It ain't my second, third, fourth, or fifth. I've been here quite a few times, and I've seen it every single time. And it comes to me more and more the more open I get. The more I study, the more that I learn. I remember what the fuck was happening over these durations of the fucking shit that has occurred over these times. And as men, like I said, we have to get to the political power part. You have to give religion up. But you have to give religion up after you understand it. You feel me? Objectively understand it, not what you feel. Niggas, you niggas is weirdos. Listen to yourselves. You're out here saying you love Jesus more than you love a woman. You out here saying you love Muhammad more than you love a woman, nigga. What the fuck? Why would you feel that way? It would make sense for a mother. Now, when you feel like you were enslaved and you got this religion, it's easy to say, okay, yeah, you were savages, you were this, that, and the third. But when you understand that as a prisoner of war, you're given a religion like this, it changes the perspective. It's like, oh, these niggas don't want me fighting back. And if I'm loving a man more than I'm loving the women that I'm supposed to be procreating with and keeping my lineage going with, it makes sense. So now I can't even teach my women that this shit is fucked up. This shit is fucked up. You feel me? It is fucked up. Now I can't leave my women out of this. Like I said, talking to women who's like, yo, would you mind if I, like, no, if you gonna still fuck with religion, don't fuck with me. Is that an ultimatum? Yes, it is definitely an ultimatum, but I'm giving you the choice. I'm not even including you in the ultimatum. I'm letting you know that I won't fuck with you because you're heavy into the religion. I can't fuck with you. I'm cool with that. I get it. You think that I'm going to help you grow and I'm going to, like, you're going to put that shit down or you're going to lose your fucking mind. It's simple. And I'd rather you stay where you at and don't fuck with me than come over here trying to play. And as men, sometimes we got to deal with that shit. You feel me? Like I've had women who's, you know, oh, you got to leave, like their mothers are telling them, you got to leave him alone because he going to have you worshiping the devil and shit. All right, cool. She already in your head. Leave me the fuck alone. But you're going to stay in the same position and you're going to keep wondering why men can't be men, why men ain't this, that, and the third. All right, cool. I ain't got no issue with it. I ain't got no issue with it. But let me move on. Let me move on. You feel me? But I'm learning. I'm learning that these were the buffers. This is the political power. Make sure the religion stays in the hands of the women, in the minds of the women. You feel what I'm saying? If she is not willing to let go of the religion, nigga, if she's not, like, there's nothing you can do about it. But now, this is why men are either going to go into the vagina, the religion of the vagina that he's trying to get into, or the one that he's coming out of. It's designed this way because this is motherfucking political motherfucking power. And don't forget to check out Cafe Clothing, formerly Just Scenes merch. Get all of your intricate designs crafted specifically for the melanated being to develop a positive imagery within self and to have a little bit of fun in the process. From the peace, love, knowledge, and freedom to the dead horses and water designs, all of the styles are crafted for the imagery to make you feel as you're supposed to feel. Because as I always say, the best way to fit in is to stand out. And what better way to stand out than with your exclusive styles from Cafe Clothing. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. That's political power, man. It runs deep, bro. A lot of the shit that I'm gonna throw alley-oops to is the Atlantis shit. That's gonna be later on. And then whatever else I thought to talk about. I gotta re-listen to this shit though, because I know I talked about the Atlantis thing, and then I referenced some other shit. Topography, I did talk about that, and then I talked about Negroes and shit and niggas and shit, and I got episodes on that already. But yeah, anyway, this is about political power. Like, we're starting to get this ball rolling. I like the way season 13 is going, and I love the way that it's coming out. But we gotta, it's a lot of work, bro. It's a lot of work, bro. You gotta, I get it, nigga. We've been wired in some shit, and we don't want to go to hell. We don't want to feel like there's a lot of shit that we gotta change. I'm here to tell you, bro, that shit ain't what you think it is. Again, now, who would benefit from convincing you that hell exists? A motherfucker that you went to war with, that knows that, okay, if this nigga rebel, I gotta make sure that he don't. I gotta make sure he don't fight me back, because this nigga was kicking my motherfucking ass. So much so that I had everything that I had to do was covert. I couldn't do nothing. I like, they make it seem like they just came over here, start slapping the shit out of us. No, nigga, you came over here with blankets of smallpox and shit. You started with genocide. You never did anything head up. You didn't shoot the fade. You feel me? And when you did, we was fucking you up. Fucking you up. You feel me? And then you won. I'll give you that. The warfare won. You know, your missionaries came over, then your mercenaries came over, and you won. I'll give you that. But you never beat Haiti. Haiti's still a part of us. And Haiti is the remnant that lets us know that, nigga, all we got to do is put that shit down. But you can't just put it down. You got to understand it so you'll never pick it back up again. That was the problem. That's the biggest problem with the conscious community. That's like, everybody keeps saying, give the white man back his religion. And everybody's depending on the motherfucker telling you to put it down, just trusting with, no. Trust me. Here's what Scene is telling you to do. Study this motherfucker, bro. Study it. Don't just leave it the fuck alone and get mad because no. Understand it. Understand this bitch and understand so it can't be used against you. Now you know why it was used against you. Every time I talk to people about Christianity or religion and shit, they be like, yo, you just need to read the Bible. I read it, nigga. I understood it. Well, you need it. The Jonathan Major shit. Oh, you read it again. Everybody thought that shit was cool. That shit was disrespectful and insulting because that was an emasculated man telling another motherfucking man who's liberated that you feel like, you see how the political power works? When a man's telling you that, hey, bro, like, you need to read this very oppressive thing again and internalize it this time. Nigga, what? Nigga, what? That shit don't make sense. The letter J didn't even exist. And you niggas, every time you end a prayer, you saying Jesus' name. Nigga, what? Nigga, what? And that's what I'm saying. You need to make sure you understand it. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. Like, when you're teaching a woman, when you're actually going, you have to have Bible study with her and talk to her. Like, I go from front to back. We usually don't get that far into the shit before it starts getting uncomfortable. I'm like, yo, the title of the book is called Holy Bible, baby. What does that mean? Holy Bible. What do you think holy means? Holy means something in reverence to God. No, baby. Holy means the Son. It's the book of the Son. Once you know the title, it changes everything. It's like, whoa. So, yes. Now you understand mythology, ritual, and allegory. Now you got to teach us that. Now you have, like, that's the militant that they don't want. Because the militant mind is not just a mind that's always trying to go to war and fight. No. No, if you understand the art of war, you know that. The fight is won before it's ever fought. How? Through intel. You feel me? Through reconnaissance. It's shit behind it that makes you say, okay, nah. It's chess, baby. They know niggas is playing checkers. You feel me? So we can't get past the political power because we don't even understand what the political power is. They niggas, they broke us so bad that we vote for our own oppression. The last 4 years, the last 8 years have been crazy, bro. Niggas is, and I get the women. I get the women. I'm not even talking about the women. Like, I get y'all because y'all have an emotional wire to this shit or whatever the case may be. It's on us. We fucked up. I get it. We lost. And I don't want to say it's fucked up like we didn't try. Like, we lost the war 400 years ago, bro. 500 years ago. Like, that's what it is, bro. We've been prisoners of wars ever since. So we can't just go back and just start killing niggas and fighting back because they have political power. They established political power over this 500-year time pocket. You feel what I'm saying? So now when you have brothers and shit arguing between Trump and fucking Biden and Democrat and Republican, I'm like, you niggas vote. Like I just said, like niggas have cut me off and shit because I didn't vote I didn't vote. I prepared. Did you, nigga? No, you didn't. You know the fuck why? Because it's political power, nigga. You have nothing to create a resource with. You have nothing to put yourself in a position to not need to vote. That's what it's supposed to be about. But we keep fucking up because we thinking that if we vote enough, no, nigga, this whole system, we call it all the time. I'm going to say this and I'm going to start trying to wrap it up. We say it all the time about being FBA, Foundation of Black Africans, or Black Americans, or whatever the case may be. Whatever it is we call it. We built this motherfucking country and you're going to continue to build it. You're just going to pick the side of who you're going to continue to build it, but you're going to constantly pick who's going to be your foreman every time. Is it going to be a Republican or is it going to be a Democrat this time, nigga? You're still building our shit. We're still going to allow people to come in and benefit off the shit that you build, and we're not going to give you a piece of what you're building. And you're going to vote for it. You're going to be okay with it. You're going to be absolutely fine with it because you don't have any political power, because you don't know what it is to have political power, because you don't even know what the fuck politics really are. You really think politics are us telling you to pick a side and who's going to represent you. Nigga, no, that's the illusion. That's the illusion of inclusion because you voted. Nigga, no, as men, we got to think beyond that. It's time for us to be beyond that. Understand that religion. Understand it so you can give it back to him. I don't give a fuck whether it's, understand Abraham. At this point, I'm going to stop saying Christianity and Islam, whatever. Fuck it. It's both of them. Understand Abrahamic religions, nigga, because that's how it was used to get you. You feel me? You got to tap back in. You got to actually elevate beyond this hierarchical shit because that's what's fucking us up. That's what's fucking us up and keeping us in this space because we feel like, oh, I'm important. I make this amount of money, so I'm Republican now. I still want to fight for my people, so I'm going for this, that, and third. Nigga, no, it's the same fucking bald-headed eagle, my nigga. But if you don't understand the political power, You don't understand what that really is. It ain't even about the policies. It ain't about none of that shit. It's like, nigga, you gotta understand how this shit functions. Now, you gotta be willing to teach, which means you have to first be willing to learn, and you have to learn a lot. You can't just regurgitate information. I've been giving y'all so much motherfucking information to look up. And if y'all niggas just up here believing me and just saying, yo, he sound good, yo, I fuck with bruh and shit, and you not studying what the fuck I'm telling you, you're wasting my time and yours. Yo, stop listening to my podcast, bro. Stop. I mean that shit. We got bigger issues and you just out here regurgitating what the fuck I say. You just liking my opinions and shit, and you not studying and learning what the fuck I'm telling you. I'm giving you all the fucking information, my nigga. What the fuck? You're not a fucking kid. You're a fucking man. We need to get back into our masculine space. We need to get out of this hierarchy. We need to get back into motherfucking harmony. And this is what the fuck is going to take. Study this shit, nigga. Just because you heard a nigga that you trust say, hey, give up religion, and don't be quoting the verses that I give you. Don't be quoting the shit like, nigga, actually study this shit and break this motherfucker down. And understand, nah, nigga. Because as long as you don't understand it, you'll always succumb to the political power, because the political power is written and orchestrated within the religion, nigga. That's what makes all of this shit work so fluidly. That's why it's a nation under motherfucking God. And I'm going to end it right motherfucking there on that note. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And our sons, bro, they're a blank slate. They're a blank slate. You can teach them early political power. By understanding that power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired way, and politics are the art and the science and the art of government, you can teach them how to spot political power early, to know when they're being manipulated, to know when they're being taken advantage of. Our sons are going to be the ones that have to do this. You have to stop feeding them this bullshit. You have to stop feeding them this bullshit because it's taking root. And now they become grown men who have to be cleansed and purged of all of the bullshit that they see from every single day, and the propaganda, the political power that is being pushed, the media, everything. All of that shit is political power, nigga. All you gotta do is turn the TV off. Turn the tablets off. We're in war, my nigga. We are prisoners of fucking war. We're not enslaved. We are prisoners of fucking war. At some point, we have to take back the power, but we have to understand the politics to do so. So again, I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Go kiss your babies. Make sure to eat their vegetables, and I'm going to see y'all all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.